And we're back with another interview here of Michael Fanaro, Michael Liu. Look at me, 2 mics. Yeah, all mic'd up with 2 mics. Look at me.
2 mics, you got a tub around here somewhere?
I do. But I won't tell you where it is. Michael Liu, Twitter handle.
At Mike Me Up with 2 P's.
Michael Fanaro.
At Aardvark TV.
You're looking for 2 quality Twitter handles. Here we go. If you want to see somebody really talk down to somebody, Mike's your guy, right? Like if you want to see somebody get put in their place, Mike's going to put them in their place. And we're, again, talking about players that we like in 2021 or dislike in 21. I know I asked you, Mike, like I was like, hey, give me a guy that you like in 2021. And it's a very popular guy.
Very popular.
It's a rookie because you talk rookies, right?
Talk rookies all the time at Rookie Fever.
Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore. Who doesn't want to talk about Elijah Moore right now? Odell Beckham is now talking about Elijah Moore. We talk about camp news on Rookie Fever all the time and taking it with a grain of salt, right? Like, I mean, but when everyone, teammates, people that used to play with the guy, people that know the guy, everyone talking about how great, himself, of course. We got away with an injury, it sounds like.
Yeah.
A lot of our rookie wide receivers are getting injured right now, but it looks like Elijah Moore is safe from perhaps, at least for now.
Minor boo-boo.
Yeah, minor boo-boo. And, everyone loves A.J. Brown, right? From Ole Miss, everybody loves A.J. Brown. Elijah Moore beat his reception record at Ole Miss in less games.
Listen, I love Elijah
Catching
Moore.
machine. It makes your nipples hard.
It does. My nipples, they get erect. And, I mean, I know we're going to talk about pulling groins here shortly, but listen, it does make nipples erect because Elijah Moore, when you talk about him, when I always compare him to, is like he's like literally like a poor man's Antonio Brown, right? Like a very explosive, really good hands, catches the ball everywhere, really good route runner, good enough speed. So now Antonio Brown, you could argue, of this generation, outside of Julio, is the greatest fantasy receiver we've seen in over the last 10 years. So it's Antonio Brown. So when you make a comparison like that, like you're making a broad statement, right? But like, so you got to be careful when you make statements like that. But Elijah Moore has a very high ceiling. And you can argue, well, he's going to New York Jets. How's the quarterback situation going to play out? They just paid Corey Davis. They have Keelan Cole there. They have Jameson Crowder there. But all accounts so far early, it is Elijah Moore who's really standing out on a daily basis, where people even that cover the Jets say, hey, I'm going here today, and I'm not going to talk about Elijah Moore because I got to talk about something else. But Elijah Moore does something that makes me talk about him again. So where do you think, like amongst rookies, so as we had our early rankings amongst rookie wide receivers, he's obviously, you would say, elevate himself because you would obviously take him ahead of a Rashod Bateman, who you're going to talk about right now just because of the injury. Have you moved him up anywhere crazy? Like, is he above Jalen Waddle for you? Has he jumped Jamar Chase for you? Where is Elijah Moore for you right now when people are thinking like, hey, I got to draft a wide receiver in my rookie draft because I draft really, really late if you haven't drafted yet. Or maybe somebody had their draft and you're like, wow, I got a really good deal. Where would you put Elijah Moore right now amongst the rookie wide receivers?
That's an awesome question and a fair one. For me, like it's still the same 3 wide receivers at the top for me. I haven't moved from it. It's still Smith. It's still absolutely Chase. I'm not afraid of what's going on in Cincinnati with Chase. Little worried about Burrow and his slow start. Not Burrow in general, but his slow start.
Knee and a half.
Which could affect overall Chase's numbers for the year. But am I worried about Chase and Dynasty? No.
I'd be more worried about T. Higgins than Burrow himself, but go on.
And then I still have Waddle there.
Okay.
So those 3 have stayed there. But then after that, from the very beginning, after the draft, where we knew landing spots till now, that other group of wide receivers was really kind of malleable for me. They were moving around.
Like? Who do you personally
Now
like?
it's Elijah Moore at the top of that group. And I think that's fairly, I won't say consensus at this point because it's not, because Bateman is an absolute forget the groin for now. Think Dynasty. People still love Bateman. My concern is the Baltimore passing volume for him. I'm still concerned about that.
If you're looking, the team that threw the ball the least amount in the NFL over the last 2 years, it's the Baltimore Ravens. No team has thrown the ball less. And honestly, there's not a team that really has dropped the ball at the receiver position as much too as the Baltimore Ravens. So Elijah Moore is your 4th rookie. And I'm with you on this. He's my 4th rookie wide receiver too. I just love him. I had a hard time because there's always Bateman and Elijah Moore, 1A and 1B. And I would have taken Bateman ahead of him on strict talent alone and the fact that he was going to be the number 1 wide receiver there. But now with that groin injury, I would take Bateman or Elijah Moore first. And now you said, Mike, that you wanted to talk about Rashod Bateman. Now, obviously, when we're talking about groin pulls, it's usually a good thing to get your groin pulled. But in this situation, it's not a really good thing to happen to you. He's getting a surgery. So what do you think of Rashod Bateman now? That like, is this like a prime opportunity to buy Rashod Bateman? What are your thoughts on Rashod Bateman after this horrendous scoring point against
I've been acquiring Rashod Bateman pretty much all offseason. I love Rashod Bateman as a prospect. I'm coming from a numbers guy. You know, I say I'm a pro scout on Twitter, but those guys don't know that's just a joke. I'm not a pro scout at all. I just do it for the LOL. But I love Rashod Bateman as a prospect. I think, you know, he's injured now, and it sucks because as rookie wide receivers, you want to see them get in early. You know, you mentioned training camp. You always want to take it with a grain of salt, right? I take it with a giant, big effing grain of salt, right? But when you hear the steady beat drum from everywhere, you know, that is a very positive signal. I think the one big thing about Elijah Moore is, you know, JJ Zacharyson, the great JJ Zacharyson covered this. If you guys don't know him, follow him, obviously. But Elijah Moore's lining up on the outside, right? That was the main concern coming in. It's like, hey, is this guy going to be strictly a slot receiver because of his size? That's all he did at Ole Miss. Obviously, they're not trying to make him go there. And based on, you know, I've listened to Rich's podcast, listened to you guys cover him, and from your film review, he's definitely capable of doing that, right? We just didn't know if he could do it. We didn't know if the Jets were going to use him like that. So the fact that they're using him like that is really nice. So I love Elijah Moore too, but I have not moved Rashod Bateman down my rank. Rashod Bateman has been my wide receiver 2 since, I don't know.
Wide receiver 2. So who's wide receiver 1?
Chase.
Yeah.
Chase. It is.
Yeah, it's
So you
been Chase.
Okay, that's fair.
Chase has been my top guy.
You're part of the herd.
Yeah, I'm part of the herd.
I'm Smith. I'm Devontae Smith,
I'm
wide
weak.
receiver 1, but it's okay.
I'm a weak herd follower on Jamar Chase.
If you're gonna be a herd follower, you should be at least be a nerd herd follower. But you are, so
I've been a nerd herd.
We're all good.
Subscriber, follower, supporters
For a long time.
from the jump.
That's why we're friends.
Never wavered. But yeah, look, Rashod Bateman, I think there's a strong case to be made for this, that he, analytically speaking, from the numbers, now, film, you guys might have some other stuff to say, but from the numbers perspective, he might be the most impressive production prospect we've seen come out, even more so than Chase. Just given what he did as a true freshman, what he did as a sophomore, and then what he continued to do. He had a little bit of a down year as a junior, but what he did in those first 2 years was simply remarkable. So I've never been able to let that go, and I understand the concerns about Baltimore. And I'm not going to make the Titans comparison, really, because I think, you know, that's a totally different time. Ryan Tannehill stepped in and became an elite quarterback, obviously. But I also think that, you know, we judge Baltimore by what they've done in the past. And historically speaking, they just haven't had a possession wide receiver, right? Like, Lamar has never had someone that good to throw to. And I was excited, and I still am excited, because Rashod Bateman really fits that. He is a possession receiver. He can take it, you know, first, second, third down and get you that first down marker, whereas Hollywood Brown can probably move towards the slot, which is where he's more comfortable anyways to begin with. So I think it's a lot to ask for this offense to continue operating the same way it has for the next year, 2 years, 3 years. We're playing Dynasty after all. And, you know, we talk about year 2, year 3 as a massive breakout of some of these wide receivers. Like, I have a lot of question marks. Will Baltimore continue to be able to run the way they do? Will they continue to have this type of defense they've had? Will Greg Roman even be there next year? I don't know. These are all questions that I don't have answers to. What I do know and what I do believe is Rashod Bateman is a very talented receiver based on his production profile, based on his film. Shout out to Matt Harmon. Shout out to you guys for covering that as well. And for me, I just bet on the talent. So if I'm a dynasty wide receiver, I just want to get the most talented guys, because situations change. And unlike a lot of people, I actually believe in Lamar Jackson and his ability to improve. So
yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson has gotten better every single year. Where again, a lot of his statistics have come from drop balls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his accuracy over 15 yards has improved year after year. So he has gotten slowly better there. So I think his narrative of, because he's such a good runner, of him being a bad passer, it's at the forefront of people's opinion of him. But he has gotten better as a passer. It's improved. You know, it surprised me. 2 guys that we were kind of worried about, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, have gotten significantly better.
Yeah.
Obviously, Josh Allen's the biggest outlier of all time.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Right? But you mentioned analytics, and that's not a base I come from whatsoever. It's a film base. And I saw exactly what the analytics say. Like, Rashod Bateman's a high-quality receiver. As much as I love Elijah Moore, I had Bateman in front of him there as a wide receiver. And Dynasty is always about an opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. Opportunity to buy low, whether it be injury, whether it be criminally, whatever it is. Dynasty is a simple game when you break it down. It's who to draft, who to buy, who to sell. And where do those windows open up, right? Like, where do those windows open up?
Yeah.
Injuries create the greatest buying window of all time.
Yeah, they do.
So Rashod Bateman in any format is going to see a dip because he's hurt.
Yeah.
Now, the only argument there is not to see a dip is he was just a first-round pick in a rookie draft.
Yeah.
They haven't played a game yet. He's supposed to come back soon. And if you drafted Rashod Bateman, you're most likely not relying on him.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's your number 2 receiver, I respect that. And that should give our audience a good window saying, hey, here's somebody I like Rashod Bateman. This is Mike's number 2 overall receiver ahead of Devontae Smith, which is a little crazy in my eyes. But, that's my number 1 receiver over Jamar Chase even. So, Rashod Bateman, you're saying bye. Use this window as an opportunity. You're getting Mike Liu's number 2 overall rookie wide receiver during an injury. And Elijah Moore,
that buying window was like 2 months ago. You're not buying Elijah Moore.
You know what's funny? Like, my favorite thing to do is in Dynasty is once the draft completes, and there's a guy who I had a first round grade in, which was Elijah Moore.
Yes.
He gets drafted in the second round of a rookie league. I let it settle for 2 weeks. I offer a first round pick the following year for that receiver. 1, I'm going to year up on that player. And 2, I could probably get that player. And usually they come back, I have to offer a first and a second. And I'm a firm believer. I give 2 shits about second round picks, third round picks, fourth round picks. I mean, seconds are nice and there's quality to be had there, but the first round's where it's at. Yeah. So if I give up in a first and a second for a player I believe in and he pans out, I'll never regret that second round pick. So I was all about the Elijah Moore. It worked in like 2 leagues, I think, where I made that offer. And I love Bateman, so I do look at this as somewhat of a window for Bateman to buy.
It'll cost you less, too.
It will cost you less. Yeah. A dip, and you're always looking for dips, right? And sometimes those dips pay out, and sometimes they don't. But Mike, I love the prospect. Mike, I love the prospect. Where can they find you? Where can they find you?
Find me at Rookie Fever and at Aardvark TV.
Mike, where can they find you?
You can find me at BDG channel, Bunk Bed Breakdowns on YouTube, and then patreon.com/rpack.
Yeah, get on there. Donate. Help out the cause. On to the next guy.
Appreciate you.